Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Smoking Syndicate. I'm your host Ben Lee here in the Tatawahe Studios in beautiful Black Mountain, North Carolina. And for this review, we're going to be taking a look at the new Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Mi Querida Triqui Traca number 448. So how did it do? Stay tuned and find out. Now, the Mi Querida Triqui Traca goes back to the Firecracker releases at Two Guys Smoke Shop in New Hampshire. Now, they got a really cool thing where they have a special release every year of what's called a Firecracker. And it's a cigar, usually every year they have their own from United Cigars, but they also have it contracted out with another cigar company to do one as well. And they come in about this size. They're actually a little bit smaller, like 3.5 by 50. And what they have is like a little, the cap has a little piece, like a fuse that comes down and it runs down the side of the cigar. Now, I've always thought that was really cool. I like that concept. Well, in 2018, they contacted Steven Saka, who is the owner of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, to make a firecracker. So basically, he took the Mi Querida blend and tweaked it and made a stronger one, and that's how this came about. Well, it was a really successful blend, so he came back out with it the next year and produced two more vitolas in it, and it's taken off. People really enjoy this because it's a nice, powerful stick. It's kind of what some people are looking for. Like, it's a good complement to the Mi Querida line. And this year he came out with one. It was a 4x48, which is what we're looking at today. Look at it there. So this is a Connecticut broadleaf with a Nicaraguan binder and Dominican and Nicaraguan filler. And it's made in NACSA, which is Nicaraguan American Cigars SA. And it retails for $8.95 per stick. So let's take a look at this cigar. See if we can get a better look at this. It's a really nice looking wrapper. Kind of like, what I like too is, this is just a personal thing, I like the little pigtail caps. I've always liked that. I thought it was pretty cool. I like the unique caps on the cigars. But anyway, let's cut it open and check the draw. Really good draw. I get notes of like earth, a slight woodiness, and some leather on the cold draw, and just that rich tobacco flavor. Draw is great. That good milkshake draw that I like. Some of the other samples that I smoked for this review were a little loose, but still really good. Most of them have been, I've smoked 5 so far, and most of them have had that nice milkshake draw where it's got that good amount of tension in it, so it doesn't burn too hot, and it's just really good. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and light this thing up, and I'll be back to give you my impression of the cigar. See you in a second. Everybody, went ahead and lit this one up and got a little bit into it. This cigar has got some really good flavor. On the beginning, on the first third, I get like a dry oakiness, along with some red pepper, a little bit of baker's spice that kind of is like the backbone note so far of this. I get a little bit of cocoa. I get some leather, just a subtle hint of coffee as well. Now, in the retrohale, what I get is some of that red pepper, but it's also mixed in with like a milk chocolate note that's really, really good. Now, as this burns down, that milk chocolate note actually becomes more on the palate. Well, as I'm smoking, I get that more on the palate, and I still get a little bit of that red pepper, but it's toned down somewhat. Like, that red pepper is not as in the forefront like it was in the first third. It's kind of like toned down. just a little bit. Also, I get that leather note, that nice oakiness is there. Earthiness, that baker spice is still there. And I get a little bit of more of a sweetness as well. Like it's kind of nice because it kind of tones down like that kind of that pepper blast that you get. Um, but it really ties it together, all the flavors together. That little hint of sweetness that I get. So really savory, delicious, nice, sweet flavor profile so far. Now, as it goes to like the final third, it gets a little bit more simplistic, but the notes for me, they're more a little bit more dominant. It's probably because I don't know, maybe because there's not as many of them, but I get the oak, the leather, baker spice. That coffee note for me is a little bit more dominant on the last third than it was in any of the rest of the first or second third as well. It's still sweet, and that retrohale is still the same. It's got like that milk chocolatey note with that red pepper. Now, the cocoa note has kind of faded somewhat, but you can still detect it, but it's not as dominant as it was in the first and second third. Now, this cigar to me was full bodied and full flavor all the way through. I really like the notes where it kind of mixes with the nice spiciness with the red pepper, but also like the nice baker spice, like the nutmeg and cinnamon type of spices, mixed in with like the cocoa notes and the earthier notes with the oak, and it's kind of a rich natural tobacco flavor you get with it. It's really, really savory and sweet all at the same time. It's a really good blend. The Mi Querida blend for me, I've always liked it, but honestly, I think this might be the best size out of all of them. Um, so I'll tell you what the rest of the sizes are. So it comes it's a number 7 by 764, which is a 7 by 64. The number 652, which is a 6 by 52 Toro size. Number 552, which is a 5 by 52 Robusto. And then a 6 by 48, a number 648, which is a 6 by 48. I guess you can see the pattern there. But for me, I think this might be the best one out of all of them. Now, I've smoked several of them, and I do like I normally like smaller ring gauges, but this one just seems to pop more for me. I don't know. It's maybe it's because it is a smaller ring gauge because it's the smallest ring gauge out of all of them. So, or it's at the same size as the 648. But it's really, really good. Really nice. Like I said, it's a really balanced flavor profile between like I said, the earthy notes, the savory notes, and the sweet notes. It's really, really good. So I had originally wrote the score down for this as being a 91, but I think I'm going to, after smoking this one again too, I'm going to bump this to a 92. I really think this is a really outstanding cigar. Steve Saka did an amazing job on this blend, and I really, really like it. This is one definitely to search out. It's $8.95 for this 4x48. Well worth it. Every day, pay it every day. This is a really, really good blend. Definitely check this out. Go to your local brick and mortar and search these out because they're really worth it. On that note, I'll see you next time.